I'll look for a game. The account is now 4 Dan. Okay. Handicap game. I guess this game will be quite different. I'll see what I can do to just try to make the game end in half a point while still playing fairly well connected moves. So once you play solid moves like this, you have to keep playing solidly and staying connected, because your stones are already low on liberties. I think this play by black is too much though. So the value of my 3 white stones is not really to make territory, but it's shorting the liberties of the black stones as well, and vice versa. So I still have some agi with the 3 point. At the moment, just being able to live is very successful for white. Being able to get into the center at all is very successful in a handicap game. And in this position I can Atari on top. However, I said I wanted to make it a half point game, so I'll just continue playing solidly. So what black should probably do is Hane on top, because then that sets up the Atari. And my shape is getting very over-concentrated. I'll just capture the 2 stones. The important point of this game is that black should extend. Even now, it's probably one of the biggest moves, because it has the follow-up of the knight's move. Okay, now that I'm solid enough, I should go on the attack. I have an extremely solid group here. Yeah, black is probably just correct to give up this corner. Maybe I've gained a little bit. So I have this move later, and I can probably do a little bit to attack the whole group later. So since I have some moves in this area which help disconnect these 2 black stones, it would be nice to attack this stone. So that's why I'm playing here right now. If I just quickly count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 16 points in this area. If I count the entire upper right as blacks, which it probably should be, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's call it 3 by 9, plus 1, 2, plus around 28 points, so it's around 60 points. This threatens to push and cut. I still probably need some more strength before I can counter attack. So if black has 60 points, I would count this left structure as a rough 40 points at the moment. In this area, black should be able to get at least 10 points. I've probably gotten around 5 points here, and if I count this as 16, then I have around 20 points at the moment. So I would say I'm around 80 points behind still. Now the upper right is on the 8th line, so even though it's extremely solid, there's still lots of holes in the position, and it's very valuable. If I invade immediately, I'll probably die, or at least I should die. But then, so I'll just try to reduce from the outside. I guess I can do the same sort of strategy, just play this very simple sort of move. So this is, I think black's play here is very strange, because I managed to get this one space extension essentially to get a base, and what black really was trying very hard to do was get this corner to prevent me from having a base. But the problem is that when I get a base, this area gets destroyed as well. So I counted this as 60 points before, but it's already been reduced by about 10 points. And there's still problems in the center, so it's probably more like 45 points now already. So I know I can clamp, and there's probably some things I can still do inside here, but black can jump. So I should probably do something to invade the left side. I don't know if I should try to prepare a bit first. I think this is a mistake by black, because this move threatens to pull this stone out. This is still the biggest move. Taking the stone is not necessarily the biggest move, but it's the solid move. It's worth around 1, 2, 3. It changes the status of the whole entire 3x3 in this corner. So in Chinese rules that would be 18 points. In Japanese rules, 2 of those points were acquired by spending a move. So I think in Japanese rules it's probably 16 points. It's not that small at this stage of the game. Okay, black playing here means I really need to get out here. It's not entirely clear to me how I should be getting out. I was thinking of playing here, but my own shape is very over-concentrated in that position. So that's why I played like this. I don't really want to play another move. If I do play another move, I probably want to jump. So if I count this as 45, and this is I mean, it was probably more like 20 before, but now it's still probably more than 10. So 45, 55, plus, if the entire side is blacks, then that's around 3 times 19 is 60. So we're still looking at around, I don't know, 100 and something points for black. This is around 10 points now. This is a bit less than 10 points. And this is going to be more than 20 points. So I have around 40 points at this point. By the sounds of it, it's not going very well. Okay, I'll just play the move to live inside. Black has to be a little bit careful that there's still some cutting points. So which side am I more confident about attacking in or living in? Probably this side seems to be more interesting in terms of shape. Later I can clamp or I'll cut to make shape. I'm not really threatening to cut because black is alive at the moment, but the thing is black has so few liberties in the centre that it's still very severe. It's quite likely that I'll be threatening to jump. Okay, I just want to see what agi I can get here. Okay, so I have this move as a forcing move. Or I could use a driving Tsuji to get out. I'm pretty sure I can't be killed at this point. There's no real point, I think, to connect up to this group. So the key is just to try to not damage these 3 stones too much while I live. I don't know, this looks a little bit silly. I'm not sure if it is silly or not. The thing is, if I play here, then I still have a weakness in my shape. So I'm trying to play as efficiently as possible. I think black has made a serious mistake here. Probably lost around 5 points or so. Maybe not that bad. Really? Black's moves are surprising, to say the least. It's very tempting to save these stones. But I think there's still some chance for me to attack black's corner. So I'll save these stones instead. I'm not sure if black should extend here. But certainly if black doesn't play their leather, then I will. And if black extends, then I will take this stone. After which, I should be alive. I am alive. Even if black spends 2 more moves, I think black can't kill this group. Okay, so that was certainly a success. So I said that black had 60 points on the left side. At this point, actually just capturing is a big move, so I shouldn't push. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If I count these as well, that's 14, 16. So that's around, black has 30 points on the left, but I have around 5 points as well. So now black has maybe 25 points on the left. So in combination with black's other 50 points, Black has 70 points, and I still have 10, 20, 30, 40, around 40 points. The reason jumping is the shape here is because I can extend later, or maybe even now. Okay, so the question is, how far can I invade in this area? Looks like a very bad idea for black to play like this. I could just connect. But I think it's not small to get out, so I will try. Kasumi is maybe slightly better shape, but I'm a bit scared. Okay. The situation is that if black cuts, which is good shape locally, the problem with that is that I can threaten a ko to win this capturing race here. So it's not easy for black to cut, but if black doesn't cut, then I'll tiger mouth, and there's a similar sort of problem. But I think I have to defend first. I have maybe a ko threat here. It's not necessarily big enough. But the key point is that my connection here is forcing, and black is going to have to add another move. It's not even a ko. Is it? I think I've just won this capturing race. Okay, so that means black has lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Black has suddenly lost around 30 points here. Yeah. Okay, so black has 30 points on the left, maybe 40 points here, 70, black has 80 points, I have 10, 20, 30, 40, this is another 40 points or so, so I have around 80 points now. So it already should be a close game. Okay, so how do I make this a half-point game? And I should just check what Komi is. Komi is half point, so if I want to win, I need to make it even on the board. Okay, I've tried to do a more accurate count, and I think I have around 72 points. and black has around 92. So apparently I'm still behind by around 20 points, if my counting is accurate, which it certainly isn't necessarily true. Okay, the best shape is to connect here solidly here, because this white stone, this black stone is weak. So I'm not giving anything away. I'm trying not to give anything away. So at this point I can honey, and I'm completely, well, at least these stones are connected, and the fact that these stones got connected means that there's a cutting point here, and this area is in trouble. Black can actually capture these two stones, but there were some problems in my shape anyway, so that's just something I have to pay for. I think the best endgame here is probably to jump. You know, I want to play this move, but just a little bit solid. And this honey is very, very urgent, because it's cente of around 5 points. Okay, let me just double check the count. So I just double checked this count. I think black captured a stone here, right? So I need to -1. Okay, so 5, 10, 13 stones dead. That's 26 points, -1 is 25, that's easy to remember. 2 captures, and then 3 points. So this is exactly 30 points. 2 captures and 3 points, yes. 30 points. I can expect back to double to honey and connect in cente. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. Similarly, I still have to pay a little bit in my shape, but if I assume that black doesn't see it, then that's 8 points. So 30 plus 15 is 45. I can probably expect 27 points here. So that comes to 72. That's the same as what I said before. That's reassuring. If I push, I think black has to connect here. 1, I think this is 19 points. If I honey, then black has to pull back. So that's if I assume that I extend in cente, then on the lower side black has around 22 points. Let's call that 40 points in total. 1, 2, 3. And black should have around 36 points here. So that's around 76 points. So actually that's a very, very close game already. So I overcounted my shape here a little bit. and I assumed that I would be able to extend here in the center. And I completely missed that black had this move. And the reason I missed it is because black's move doesn't work. However, if I punish it, then I will probably win the game. So I will not punish it. But by not punishing it, I'm giving black an extra 3 points or so. So I have to be quite careful. So if I'm around 7 points behind, okay, black has just made a big mistake here. Okay, black saw the weakness, but black is paying a lot to get this. I counted 8 points for me at the top before. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points, and black has captured 2 stones. So that's still around 8 points, but the problem is that black has run out of liberties in the center. Okay, so I have slightly less than 8 points, maybe. But the problem is that I can capture or do something. Okay, so I assumed that black was going to jump here in order to surround the territory, but it's not strictly necessary. There might be better moves. I counted 0 points for black in this area because there's a cutting point. But I also counted 0 points for me. Okay. I think this area is more than I counted. This is still 19 points, not counting this. This area is more like 24 points, I think. Is this area 44 points? Am I miscounting? Yeah, it's basically 44 points. So if all goes according to plan, that's 19. This is 24. Add on to 44 is 68. 19 plus 24 plus 44. My maths is a bit slow at the moment. 87 points. Let me just double check this capture. Okay, so that's 30 points. 45 points. And this is what, 28 points? So that means I'm still around 10 points behind. I just need to go to the loo. Okay, so if I'm behind by 14 points now, I can hope to gain around 1.5 points if black doesn't notice this. Similarly, maybe I can gain some points here. If I really want to gain back the 14 points, it looks a little bit late. Especially as I counted 0 points in this position for black. Now I counted 10 points at the top earlier. 1, 2. I mean, I might be able to get 1 point in this area, but black has already gained around 1 point here. This is forcing. This one should be forcing. There. I probably have 2 more points here than I counted. Maybe I have 2 more points here than I counted. No, probably not. So I need to get back a total of 12 points. If this corner disappears, then that's a gain of 7 points. So I've captured a stone and black has lost 1. Black has lost 4 points compared to my expected variation. However, I need to watch out that there's a peep in my position here and my whole group is not necessarily alive. Right, so black has 4 points less than my 4 points less than my earlier count. It's not that easy for black to kill this group. If I play here, then I should be alive. Right, so I had counted the lower side as 7 points. Now I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points, 9, 10 points. So I've gained a total of 3 points. That's actually very big, isn't it? No, not on the best play. Maybe not. If black sees the correct way to respond. Okay, so as far as I can tell, this area is becoming the biggest. I should probably just take stock and see if it's possible for me to see how I'm doing. So this area is still 30 points. No, it's 31 points now. This locally I should probably push and make this high. So that's 12 points. So that's total 43 points. This area is 9 points. That's 52. This is the area is exactly 30 points. So that's 82 points. I don't think that's enough, is it? No, but black has lost some points. So this area is 22 points. This area is 38 points, so that comes to 60 points. This is 19 points plus 2 captures. And a bit more. So that's around 22 points. So that's around 82 points. So it should be very, very close, this game. So 60 points plus whatever's going on here. So 19 points plus 2 captures is 21 points, so that's 81 points. However, if black connects, then black loses a point here. So I think I'm actually ahead by 1 point on the board, if I calculated correctly. Okay. I'm sure I can find a way to lose a point somehow. Let's just double check. 31. This one is 9 points. So that's 40 points. This one is 12 points, so that's 52. So I was claiming that and this area was exactly 30 points. So 82 points. If I capture, then I gain some points. So I can capture this stone, which is 2 points. But if I play here, then I have more points. Basically, this is anyway, it's all the same. They're all 2-point moves, other than this area. There might be big. It might be bigger than 2 points. I haven't completely worked it out. So this is my strategy to lose some points. Let black get this point. Oh, that's 2 points. Well, 1 point reverse anti. At this rate, I'm going to be the one who gets the last move of the game, which might gain me some points. That's quite a clever move. The golden chicken standing on one leg. Oh no, black has just lost a point. I have to find a way to lose a point. Okay, the easiest way for me to lose a point is to play this one. That move doesn't gain any points. Okay, so I can push. So compared to my count, what has happened? I think black gained a point here, black gained another point here, black lost a point here, I gained a point here, and then black gained 1 point here. Overall, does that mean black gained 1 point compared to my count? My feeling is that this is enough for me to lose the game by half a point. We'll see how reliable my counting was. Oh no, I won by half a point. That wasn't what I was hoping for. So I miscounted a point somewhere. I probably forgot this capture or something like that. Huh. Oh. Okay, that was just for some fun. Okay, I'll play a bit more seriously this time. Okay, I see the 3-3, so that means I have more confidence in reducing black's moyo. Okay, so black doesn't want to make a moyo with the 3-3, that's understandable. But not making a moyo in a handicap game tends to mean white gets out comfortably. I think the natural move here is to pincer and to do something against the wall. You've seen, if you've been following the Samsung Cup final, Shinjinso against Park Jong-hwan, this has appeared many times. Okay, that was not expected, but it's certainly not so unusual. I assume I should just continue as normal and attack the wall at the key shape point. The follow-up is play around here. I don't really understand why black did that. The problem with black playing like this is that even though black has this move, black can't really get into this area very easily. For example, if black invades, I might just start attacking this group. And that's a might, I'm not sure if it's actually correct. In this area, black always has the chance to honey and connect. But black is trying to avoid making that exchange just yet, because it makes white thick. Okay, now black probably isn't going to be able to invade here very easily. This is generally very bad because even though you force white to add another move, the move that white adds is damaging one of the stones that black has played in the center. Again, this is very bad because it's only threatening to capture one stone. Not very bad, of course, but it's could be better. Okay, so white shouldn't be the one trying to make a moyo. White should just make solid shapes in a handicap game. This sort of move would be pointless because of the push and cut. I don't see anything to play. I think white has played very influence oriented on the right side, so it's quite natural to take out this other 3-3. So is black going to let me into the left side as well? Just to try and build the lower side? I think that's unreasonable, because even though the 3-3 isn't that great for making a moyo, if you let your opponent play too many moves on the side of the 3-3, then it's just not helping. Okay, so once again, this is not a big move. Mostly because it's go-to. Okay, so I'm comfortably alive, so I don't need to add another move. Later there's still some funny edgy, and the lower side is unimportant. So the question is, how ambitiously can I attack the left side? So if I play around here, then that seems about right to me. Black has played a lot of stones on this wall, so I don't want to get too close. I think maybe just simple solid is good enough here. I can aim at this peak later. Or if I have this stone, then I can aim at this attachment. Okay, what is black saying here? Black's saying that if I push up, then black is going to come down and disconnect. after black jumps, it's awkward. Problem with black's idea, I think, is that I'm not sure what black is going to do after this. The natural follow-up is probably to get out. Okay, the shape point is definitely to Hane, but you have to ask if it's worth playing right next to this wall. It's still valuable to aim at this this peep. So I think my instinct is still to Hane. If I didn't want to Hane, then I would just turn and let black connect up. Which is also very, very big because of that invasion point. And so if I Hane, the black connects, I tiger mouth, and then what? Black plays around it, or black peeps and tries to. No, black has to play here. Then I can jump. Black gets out, and black builds the upper side. I think it's best to try to make black a bit over-concentrated here. Okay, this is a very strange shape. Actually, I suppose if I Hane, then I'm going to get cut. But there's no point extending because black just pressing is a good shape. So if I play any move here, it has to be the Hane. Problem is, if I Hane, I don't really have a follow-up unless I peep directly. Yeah, I think Hane doesn't really work, so just play solidly. If black, so I think black should Hane now, and then I'll descend, and then maybe black defends the cutting point. Is my imagined variation. I mean, Hane is so big that I feel I have to play it. If black cuts, my plan is just to try to capture something. Just oh, I've messed up. It doesn't work. In fact, it's not only does it not work, it's very bad for me. Black can Atari, 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 and squeeze, and then I have lost the capture race. This is bad. I think I might have lost 5 points here. Maybe more. I feel I don't have much choice other than to play it out there. So black can Atari, Atari, I have to extend, then black can connect. And actually even better is for black to play this. No, I can get out here, can't I? I think black has just blundered. There's a double Atari in black's position. Yeah, this is... I've now won the capturing race. The question is, even if I've won the capturing race, is it good for me? I'm pretty sure it's good for me, but it's certainly not as good as you might think, because black has gotten some squeeze on the outside. I think the problem is black stone here looks very bad. So even though locally it might be just about playable for black, this stone is very bad. So it's still very bad for black overall. How would I evaluate this corner? So I have around 5 points in this corner. Black has around 0 points in this corner at the moment. So I can win the capturing race by Atari, but that's very crude. More interesting would be to win, to sacrifice the capturing race and to Atari like this. But maybe just taking a Panuki is better. Yeah, I think just taking a Panuki is the best move. I think black made a mistake here. Black shouldn't be trying to win this capturing race. Because even if you win the capturing race, you have to play all of these moves right next to the wall. You can see that this connection looks very bad. It would be much better at the Kasumi, for example. And I can also push in here in Sensei. So at the moment I'm threatening to either jump here or to block here. And either way, black shape is awful. I think I can capture the stones if I jump. That's just a feeling, I haven't completely read it. But the problem is that if I capture these stones, then the entire black group is in trouble. Okay, there's no point for me to block here because this black group is also weak and low on liberties. So I don't need to try to force the capturing race from this side. I should just capture the center stones. Now I need to read this a little bit. The first moves are obvious. The next move, I need to think a little bit. Okay, this is just committing suicide. Okay, so the question is, do I play the knight's move? No, I think is the answer, because I can't short this liberty. I can turn, which means that black will have to bend. Then I can play the knight's move, and then I lose the capturing race. Okay, if I jump, then I lose the capturing race. Okay, so I didn't actually capture the stones. Interesting. Okay, if I can't capture the stones, then I should just squeeze from the outside. And if I'm going to sacrifice this group, then I have to block here first. Yeah, so I don't have to sacrifice the group. The reason I played this is just to get that one extra liberty, so black has no forcing moves immediately. I could play here and continue the fight. The problem with that sort of thinking is that I have 2 cutting points and a weak group, and this group isn't completely healthy either. Okay, I think I have to exchange all of these. It's difficult to save the center group. I mean, obviously it's going to be difficult when there's this sort of shape. Yeah, if I play here, I think black can just squeeze here, and even then, just jumping out is not necessarily good for me. So I'll just sacrifice. I misread this. Black didn't have to connect here. It's a Seki. So black could just cut, and then I'd be in trouble. But there's no point extending because there's no way I can push and cut. So I should just try to make some good shape. If black honeys, then I connect, and then black shape is bad. Or maybe I just extend. Yeah, extending might be a better shape in this position. If black cuts, then I can actually probably get away with playing the tight press. Yeah, obviously I can't ladder this stone, so I should just extend. It's not really clear what black is trying to do here. I think it may be appropriate to sacrifice again. Because I have so many cutting points on the outside, it's really difficult to save everything. I think I'll just sacrifice. The problem is that there's such a big move that black has left in this corner. So black has what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, maybe 25 points. There's still agi though. I can still escape with these stones at the moment. And black can live here with just one move. I should probably force black to live somehow by playing around here, so that I can build the right side. I mean, in my opinion, black has to be very careful here, because if I extend, then that's threatening a ladder. So this is the standard Tsuji. I don't actually have enough liberties to do this, but there's so much bad agi here, I don't have to try to ladder black stones. I can get the Kasumi or anything, any move around here for me and Sente. I agree that my shape is quite bad here. Question is, how are you actually going to exploit it? This is bad exchange for black. I don't really dare to run out with these stones, actually. Firstly, because they're not big. I have various moves like this in Sento. As long as I can separate these two groups, it should be okay. Or should I just try to take the territory? I think probably in this position, black does have quite a big wall there, so I think taking the territory is sufficient. If I Kasumi, then there's problems underneath, so I'm playing tightly here. How big is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 14 points. It's not that big. Then I also get to save these stones. It's probably not the biggest move. My instinct is that I should continue trying to threaten black's connection. To be honest, even if I just descend, it's already very good shape for me. Because these moves mean that it's difficult for black to play on the right side. But I have to remember that if this move is Sente, then actually black's shape should in theory be very, very weaker. Frankly, I'm trying to kill. I'm going for the kill. Because with this push and cut, I can Atari, and there doesn't seem to be a problem. Oh, I should have extended, shouldn't I? Yeah, I think I can still try to go for the kill. These stones are all connected. So if black extends, I can just honey. And there's no cutting point here because I can play the empty triangle as a forcing move. I mean, obviously if I get to capture these two stones, that's my dream result. So I don't mind if black lives with this group. Because none of my stones are going to die. Because these are all connected. Yep, and that's probably black has no choice but to play like this. But it's still a difficult shape for black because if I honey and I have a little bit more agi, even if still have some agi here. Yeah, this is interesting because if I block, then there is actually a pushing card, isn't there? So there was always a pushing card there. The problem is that I'm quite solid, so I'm not sure if I want to block. Okay, maybe I'm not solid enough. I think I've underplayed her a little bit. Black's best move here is probably the Tiger Mouth, but that doesn't help right now, so I agree, you have to honey here. Question is, these two black groups are split if I can deal with this push and cut. Now that I look at it, I suspect that I can't easily deal with the push and cut. Okay, so now I just get to go push straight through. I don't Atari or anything because my own group is weak. I think black needs to capture the stone. Even if black cuts, black doesn't have an eye, so I don't see the need to connect. So I will just make my group alive. I haven't completely worked out what the best move for me here is. If I can clamp, that's the best thing I can hope for, but I'm not sure if I can. The standard move here is to Kasumi, and I think this black group is dead. Yeah, it's just dead. Black can push, and maybe there's some cutting point, but then this other group will die. In fact, actually this Kasumi is more powerful than I thought, because I still have Descent endgame as well. Okay, I don't think this works. I have to seal it in. When black cuts, I think I can connect here. No, I have to Atari first, because my upper group is not completely solid, especially if black has this connection. Yeah, so I have to Atari, then connect. No, I can't connect because then black has this Kasumi and then I get cut. So what do I play? Okay. Okay, fine. Fine. Yeah, they're a bit indecisive, but capturing is certainly the solid move. Not sure if I should connect solidly. Okay, so this is solidly dead. Black is solidly alive here. I don't see any problems in my area here. But there is a cutting point, so maybe I should think a little bit about it. Now I have this Atari and Sente, but it's not necessarily the best thing I can get here. I might be able to use the peep. Because it's not forcing anyway. I might be able to throw in an Atari. No, probably not. Locally the end game is probably to press around here. It just doesn't look very big. Okay, so the question is how do I make this area bigger, I think. The upper side is irrelevant because white already has a stone here. And since I can't get out with this group, then there's no point making territory with it. It's just it's a good block to prevent black from making territory there. So I have two options. One is Atari and play here to try to build the upper side. Or just to back off here and try to build the center instead. Reinforce the center. However, I think my own group isn't that weak. The problem is that black has this peep, so actually this shape is not good. So I think this is still a better shape. I'm still reluctant to turn here because I might be able to use the Kasumi or some other move because I can descend here. If I were black, I would want to play around here, try to kill this group. Yeah, as black I would also consider it just extending. Cool. Cool idea. The idea is to use the peep. However, it doesn't work, does it? Okay, so if I push and cut, black can Atari, connect, push, go down several times, Atari, Atari, Atari. Okay, I think I need to also think about the fact that black isn't completely alive. I think I can just push and cut. I know that the agi is bad. But I have faith. Okay, so now black can push here, and I don't know where to play next. This is bad order of moves. Because now when black pushes, I will just retreat. Black could have attached underneath. I don't think there's any problem here, because if I connect, cut, then black loses that by 1 liberty. I guess there was peep and connect, then I connect, then there's this push and cut. Which, well, this white group is alive, so I just have to worry about one group, and black has no eyes. That's probably fine. So the question is, how do I stop black from connecting underneath? If I play here, then when black descends, black is threatening to Kasumi, so I have to Hane. And now I'm already connected, because black can't attach, because I just wedge. Now, is black center group alive? I think it's comfortably alive, especially as black can play here in Zen2. Right now I can push and cut. But if I extend, then black will Hane and connect. And then I can't cut. Okay, I just shouldn't bother cutting though. This is still the key shape point. This is incorrect from black, I think. Black has no choice but to Hane and connect right now. The whole group is dead. Okay. Black can Atari, and I can connect. Against this, I think I just connect, because that prevents black from getting this point. That threatens a snapback. That doesn't work. In fact, it's not only just does it not work, but I'm also threatening to kill some stones. So. Okay, so we're going to review this. My feeling is that in a handicap game, normally you want to try to build a moat. Even if you have a 3/3 stone, it's still fairly efficient at building moats. Because it's already claimed the corner, so you don't have to add another move. And it can directly start building the moat. Playing like this, it kind of lets me into the black's area a little bit. Of course it's not normal. If I play here, then the standard move is to attach these stones. This is the aggressive fighting move. I think it's probably still more appropriate for me to back off, because I'm also reducing this stone. Anyway, I played the fighting variation. Problem with this is that black has potential on the lower side now. The variation I remember was I connect here and then this sort of thing. Not sure if I'm remembering this completely correctly. And black just uses its stand move to get out, I think. Normally you don't want to play here unless you're strong in the area, or you need to play here in order to get out, like this. Locally, this is the shape, and then you can get out like this. Or you can try to invade if you're quite aggressive here. I hadn't completely decided what I was going to do here. The instinct is to fight, but I have to worry about this ko. So it might just be proper shape to do this. But the question is, in this shape I can get cut, and then black also has ways to attack my position. But if I Atari from underneath, then it's just over concentrated. Because black can still honey and connect underneath here. And actually it's not just about that, so eventually black takes this, and black can just jump out here, and it's awkward. So I think this was still the shape point. So I suspect that in this position I have to end the play here in order to get rid of the ko. Then maybe black can sort of connect up underneath. It's not completely clean. Yeah, at this point probably I just attach. There's still some bad agi. Honey and connect. Well, normally you don't honey and connect unless you have to. For example, if white plays here, then you honey and connect. But there's no need to honey and connect here. Locally, it's often better to play on this side, and then you have some follow-ups. The connection is very bad, you can't play here anymore. Like if you play here, you probably just could get cut. Actually, that's probably not a good move. Probably a better move to just Atari like this. Yeah. And then it's just awkward for black. Okay, so I thought I have a fairly strong group here, especially as black is weak, but I don't know how to build this moyo. If I play like this, black is completely solid, So I don't have any follow-ups. So I just go for this corner. I think this seems fairly natural, but I wouldn't take Gote here, especially as the lower side is low. Let's take Sente and build the left side. I would probably look at this sort of move. There's still lots of space on the upper side, so it's still an interesting area to play on. And White will probably invade around here. We might be looking at this sort of variation. If you play like this, normally you have to double honey, and this kind of works because the lower side is low. But on the other hand, White does have some kind of a moyo here, so you do have to be worried that White is going to play here. Probably Black needs to follow up around here. It's a bit tricky. And White will need to invade somewhere around here. Normally you extend, and then White plays here. So this is normally bad. Normally you just make this exchange and then defend your shape. Like this, your group isn't really safe yet, so that when I add another stone, you can kind of imagine that it's important to keep playing around here, but then I'm not sure. Like, yes, you can get this, but the problem is your shape is still bad. Something like depending on what happens, there's going to be different sorts of agi. Probably White can't play it yet because this is fairly good shape for Black. Though even like this, Black doesn't really have eyes. But there's all sorts of different agi later. For now, White can just jump. Okay, so I think this is probably not a good exchange in this particular position, even though it's normally good if you're making a moyo. My instinct is for Black to defend this shape a little bit, but I also have an instinct that I want to play on the upper side. I think the standard variation is this. And maybe just in order to prevent that, I should have played high. But on the other hand, low reduces Black's shape significantly. So I don't think it's a bad move. Thinking about this, but generally you don't want to start a fight when Black is so solid. Just be satisfied with this. I thought that we might enter this sort of variation. Black at least defends the shape a little bit and get something on the upper side. This is strange. Maybe I should have honeyed. I was scared of this sort of variation. And I think this variation is good for Black, because I don't yet have any particular threat against Black's group. Black just needs to push out, and will naturally reduce the right side as well. And we'll soon add another move here. So I think this is the key point. But if I want to honey, I need to honey right now. It's still very good for Black. So I can't honey. If I want to honey, I have to push and play like this. and then play like this. It's still kind of okay for white to play like this, but it doesn't. It's not good shape. So perhaps I should have just extended. Perhaps. No, I think this move is still fine, and then my next move doesn't work. Okay, yeah, I have to pull back here. Okay, I think I should have just played elsewhere. This was a bad move. Locally, I think I should Tanuki, because it's not that easy for black to play. Like, if black adds another move, black probably has to play here, but then there's still some funny edgy in the center. Sometimes you need to know when to stop forcing the car ahead, and that's a kind of Chinese proverb. You need to learn to apply the brakes. In this position, actually, white's exchange here is probably good for white, but even so, black can still run out. So it's at the moment it doesn't really help. Black probably has to white has to evade here right now. Probably black just jumps, and we go for this sort of variation. Probably black connecting is good enough. And black has this giant center influence. I mean, it's not exactly that bad for white. It's just I think white hasn't really gained anything. I think black has no choice but to sacrifice the samurai, and it looks pretty bad for black. But it still, black has a lot of co-threats here. It's only 6 points. Black has Sente. Black can do something on the right side. Maybe still the shape point. Probably white will play here. But it's risky. So maybe some other move. Or maybe it's proper for white to defend the shape now, especially as black is thick all around. I think this doesn't make sense. Whatever happens, it's too bad for black to give up this Pinocchio and get such a horrible shape. So black has played a move to disconnect white's groups, so this only makes sense if those white groups are actually disconnected, which means that you have to invest in the samurai. This is also good. Probably this is the best move. But losing the center is also very painful. Yeah, this push is inexplicable. If you're going to play anything, you should play here. Probably I have to connect. I guess it's the same story, except I have to play here, so I don't get quite a nicer squeeze as in the game. So all of these moves are very, very bad. And I messed up here because black can just cut. So at this point I have to play here. And black has gotten this area, but white, with this massive white wall, even 3/3 stone is in some trouble. in the game. I got this for free and extended. I don't think black can afford to pull this stone out. I mean, at the best, you can probably jump. I think this is too bad a shape to let white get this. And you have to continue locally. This is just a bad cut because white was trying to build this area and it's just helping white. This is too big a sacrifice. This is definitely the cut you want to play. And if it works, it's probably the best move. And I think it does kind of work. Black's result in the game was okay, and I'm sure there were better moves. Like this move was terrible. Maybe at this point you can play her. If white connects, then you can honey, and then white is in trouble. So there's still a lot that black can do around here. This was quite soft. I played some aggressive moves here. My feeling is that black needs to fix the shape properly, and this is the way that black can connect. So it wasn't really very good to let me get the shape point. It's an interesting idea, but it only hurts black's chances, I think, because now it's very difficult for it to make this black group live, and in the process black just died with the other group. I think you have no choice but to pull back here, even though I have some sort of that's very heavy on me, and I don't really have the ladder just yet, so even though I can push, it's tricky. I'm not really sure I can win the semi-I here. But if so, then black can pretty much save everything just by playing here. In which case my center moves look a little bit silly, but it did allow me to get big points on both sides. And black is completely connected. And there's still this sort of problem later. Anyway, so connecting when you don't have to connect is not a good idea. And that was just game over. I think this is the shape point. Play something like this. And it looks alive. Attach and just maybe honey, and it looks alive as well, so it doesn't really look like a group that's easy to kill. This looks like it's going to be Ko. There's some scary push and cut agi. Black can try to get out with this move, especially as white's corner isn't completely healthy yet. But after this I get the key point, and it's hopeless. Okay, that's all normal. This looks like a nice move, but maybe it didn't quite work. Probably you have to play like this instead. Then I connect underneath, but black still can find a way to live inside her. Oops. That can. I think black just connects, black lives, and it's okay. And black getting into this area is the last big area. If I can push and cut, then it's all good for black. Okay. Yeah, I was also kind of looking at what's going on in this area. My feeling is that I can get away with this. If black cuts, then I can still run away here. I just need to be careful that black might play this one, and I think I can cut. And black's shape is falling apart. The idea is that, like this, I get to capture it as a forcing move, and then there's another cut here. Whereas if you run away here, then I get to just capture everything. At the very end, black, all black had to do was honey and connect in center and then connect here, and this was what I expected. And I would be able to play here, and black would have to capture, and then I could have array, and then I return to the big end game on the lower side. Probably Atari and jump. No, I think I can get away with this move in this position. So back in a turn. Connect.